Welcome back to cross-country highlights from the 10th round of the HSBC FEI World Cup Eventing Series here in Malmö, Sweden, on this cross-country course which is set in a public park. And because it's a public path, the public can come free. So not easy for the organisers to rack in the money when all the spectators on the cross-country day don't have to pay a bean to come and watch this cross-country action.
As a course designer, what are your thoughts about this course in Malmö?
Well, it's a fascinating experience because it's very different from is actually trying to bring the sport to the city, to the people. We have a sport that usually we do it in, far away in the middle of nowhere, and we then always have people to come there. And here there's this great challenge, I would say, to bring the sport to the city. So I enjoy a lot that kind of challenge. The most important thing to design a course for me is to get familiarized with the venue, and you must walk it. You must just come and walk around, and often I think that the best thing is to do it. I always do it on my own. You must be on your own and just walk around and see and have a feel for the place, and then from there you move on. I use a bit now with Google. We have these aerial photographs that are good because they remind you where you are, so then you can do some measurement of distances without having to walk. But the fundamental thing is to walk the place.
If you have an obstacle that is difficult, is it difficult for the rider or for the horse?
Well, at the end of the day, the rider cannot jump the obstacle on his own. The horse must jump it. So at the end, the rider can only try to help the horse to understand what is the question, to give him the right balance, direction, speed, and then the horse must answer the question.
Okay. Now we are going to look at some of the obstacles.
Yes.
Okay.
Very good.
The color of the numbers, what does that say?
Well, that is the difference in the classes. The World Cup class is the red numbers, while the green numbers are the 2-star class. So that is immediately the level under the World Cup.
What makes the green fences easier? Well,
let's say that there is a combination of dimensions, first of all, together with positioning. So in show jumping, dimension is nearly everything, not everything, but surely in cross-country dimensions are important, but then the positioning of fences is what makes really the difficult.
And the distances?
The distances, absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely.
So how am I going to ride this?
Well, I think at this point, hopefully the first 4 fences have put you in the right attitude. The horse should be thinking forward and be bold enough. There is this straight line between A and B, and then there is a turn in curving line to C that is just down there. I think here, this first fence, if you want to go just direct one to another one, it's quite a big fence. It will jump big. There is a bit of an angle to it, so you need to have a horse that is committed, that is clear in his mind, and then I would expect to have 4 nice strides to the next fence and then a curving line. But there are also other options here. You can eventually put also a curving line between A and B, coming a bit more from the right side, if you prefer that. Or eventually you can also have a full alternative. You can jump this A coming the other way around, turning to your left, so splitting the question to B and then C. So I think there are different options here.
And the option always means it takes a little bit longer time.
Absolutely. Okay. That is all the game. The watch keeps going.
So this is the water complex.
Yes.
How are your thoughts?
This is the first water complex. The idea was to try to keep it, I think it's quite early. We are, as you see, we are just at fence 7, so not to keep it too difficult, to keep it as natural as possible, and the materials are, as you see, very natural, just logs and just a bit of brush down there, but to put a bit of dimensions into it. So the idea is they would jump this log, is not strictly related, but there is a relation anyway, to then a log into water is anyway a 180 drop into water, and then they are committed to the small brush in front of them.
So this is a combination, but I only see one fence.
Yes, this is a bit tricky, I must say, because in reality what happens that at this level you actually asking horses. Horses are trained and riders are trained, and riders walk their courses before to know what is happening. This is a case in which actually there is another corner behind there.
Okay.
It is 3 strides away or 4, whatever they would like to put into it. But the horse must trust the rider, and the rider must have a very clear line of where he thinks he will be landing. It will then become quite easy and clear to the horse where to go. But at this spot here, actually you can only see one of the 2 corners.
Is the corner itself a difficult fence?
Well, yes, I think a corner, technically, I always say a corner is a very difficult fence because it's an angled fence with a spread, and is also quite upright usually. So
okay.
Altogether, it's enough.
And it's easy to break out?
It's very easy to run out. You need to be very accurate on your line, and the horse needs to keep very straight in his jump, and so it's a good test.
Okay. Now we have jumped the first corner, and now we can see the other one.
Yes, now here it's very clear, because once you jump the first one and you land and you allow your horse to take 1 stride, then you have a couple of strides, you just bend to the right and the other corner is in front of you. So I think, I hope the test will be appreciated by riders and horses. I think it's a true 3-star World Cup test. There is a possibility actually of an option. If you don't want to take this directly, without presenting to the second corner, you can just go around and jump it from the other direction, but you will lose some time.
Well, the young Finn on course, Sanasilta Corpi it is. Right, Finland in the...
You have a new area this year.
Absolutely. That has been, and now we see how it will work. It's been very interesting because the discussion with the city of Malmö that is behind the show, you know, it's been always, we always want a bit more. So we started many years ago, and with a park and with, you know, a lot of doubts, yes, no, and then they slowly got confidence in the organization, and so now they actually became part of it, and they are the first sponsors of this event. And I just, when I was walking around here, at a certain point I walked in the garden. I said, this is beautiful, we must come here, we must get them here. And so I asked, I said, well, I think it would be good. And they thought about it and they discussed it, and at the end they agreed to do it. And so for this year we are going down there, and I really hope it will work well, because I think that is an addition to the course. It's completely different, as you can see from the pictures. It's a completely different view. This is an open field, there is all closed and it's all, but I think it can be a good addition to the course.
But you're not using that water this year?
Well, that can't be too greedy. I hope to get there. One day I hope to get there, but for the moment, no, we are still using the traditional water, but the plan would be maybe to do something there.
Okay.
We'll see. And again here they come from this long gallop, and we come back to the water, and there is an angled combination coming into water. These are 2 boats actually, and so there is a couple of strides to go inside here, but there is also a possibility eventually, as there are 2 separate numbers, to actually put a circle in between them, so to take off the full difficulty of the test. And then they are jumping element 21B, that is a fountain. Okay. That is, I must say that the course builder here, Per Magnusson, that has been designer for many years, he has built this fantastic fountain that is all his proud. And so we will see it operating again this year, and we incorporate it in the design. And after that they will come out and go to the, let's say, the last 4 or 5 efforts of the course.
Okay.
From here. After the second water, they have they just come on an easy fence. They jump some barrels on that hill down there, and then they come to this hill here, where we have a couple of hedges. So hedges is quite a forgiving material, but in the same time it needs some respect and some accuracy riding, because the terrain is moving. There is a slight bend to the right, and then again we have a turning curve, a large turning curve to the left, to have another jump that is on a small little hill, again to give balance to the horses on the last fences, and they finish finally in an arena on a flower bed, or vegetable bed actually, to be honest, that brings them to the finish of the course, and is a very soft profile that should work.